Very good afternoon, and on behalf of Economic Times and Airtel, I welcome you all to this live webinar on secure anywhere, anytime visual collaboration, how technologies is enabling a wider reach and faster decision making. I want to thank each one of you for taking out time and participating in this session. To stay ahead in today's competitive world, we need to be able to collaborate with colleagues and customers across the globe. Geographically distributed organizations must understand whether collaboration is helping or hindering them. They need to know if it is increasing engagement and productivity. Video conferencing or collaboration can provide business benefits no matter which industry you belong. For retailers and financial institutions, employing video to interact with customers is a normal day-to-day in their business environment. Medical professionals are consulting with one another across distances. Manufacturers are addressing production issues more quickly and thoroughly. Where the need for interaction exists, so does the potential for video collaboration to add value. There was a time when people would suggest a meeting over a video was a mere folly. It was too complicated, expensive, and it required equipment housed in the hallowed halls of the executive wing. Now it's on our smartphones, tablets, and laptops. A recent survey conducted by Redshift Research titled Global View, Business Video Conferencing Usage and Trends found that 96% of business decision makers were of the opinion that video conferencing is an essential tool, helping them to improve team collaboration and closing the physical and cultural gap between colleagues doing business across distances. With these words, I would now invite Sunny Rao, Vice President, India and Middle East at Video, to share his views on the topic. Sunny will discuss the technology roadmap for visual collaboration and how is it going to be delivered, key decisions around visual collaboration for growing businesses, assessing the success of a visual collaboration strategy and how to evaluate an ROI, and what is happening on the interoperability front and how to handle BYOD in the context of visual collaboration. I welcome Sunny Rao.
There are a number of factors that come into how companies work. Some of the forward-thinking organizations are driving innovation and gaining that momentum by changing the nature of work itself. And we hear of common methods such as agile development or scrumming or swarming together to solve a problem. There's also a significant amount of emphasis on non-routine work because forward-looking organizations understand that high-value work comes from employees' creativity, from market insights, their personal networking, and the ability to influence, and they understand that repetitive and routine work will become automated. Also, HR organizations realize that talent acquisition is probably one of the key differentiation for organization. One has to provide the most effective and flexible work environment, especially for the younger generation that is coming in. The workspace is getting virtualized. That work is no longer a place people go to, but something that they do, and empowering these people to be productive anytime and anywhere without limitations is a key aspect of moving organizations forward and increasing their productivity. Jeremy Rifkin wrote a very interesting book. It's called The Third Industrial Revolution. And what he talked about in that book is that we are into our third wave here. And in that third wave, we're seeing a confluence much like the first two waves, which were in the first wave, you had the advent of the steam engine and the paper printing press, and that created the first revolution. The second revolution was electronic communication that came along with the electric combustion engine, the combustion engine with electronic communication. And we're in the third revolution with smart energy or renewable energy and the advent of the smart devices. So really, we are looking at a complete sea change in the way organizations are going to continue to move forward. In all of this, the DNA of humans has been one of physical or face-to-face communication. We have thrived for centuries in being able to communicate with each other, being able to look at each other, understand the vibrations and the emotions of people, and being able to conduct business. For a long time, all of that was hidden behind aspects such as instant messaging and email and faxes. But we're coming into that age where people are realizing that in order to thrive in this hyper-competitive environment, we need to take more instantaneous decisions. And to do that, we need to bring the right people together quickly. And that's where the power of video comes in, because it helps build relationships even when distances come in between. It also allows for much better quality of those relationships, because you can, in the absence of being able to travel all the time, be able to continue to build those relationships and have the conversations that are meaningful. Travel restrictions and your calendar rarely come in between in building these relationships. One also has all the information required to do those transactions, and therefore we can take much faster decisions that are less prone to error. And that is the power that you're bringing in with video collaboration. What it also allows you to do is that it allows you to work with the collective. And that is a very important aspect, as most HR leaders will tell you. The ability to bring a team together to solve problems is one that differentiates organizations. It allows you to crowdsource, not just within your enterprise, but also across a federated enterprise or across your partners and customers, and involve them in the decision-making cycle, because at the end of the day, we're all here in businesses to serve our customers and be able to bring that into a crowdsourcing model. It's also an era of hyperconnectedness. If your customer tries to reach you and has a frustrated experience, before they complain to you, they complain to the open world over some sort of social media platform. And therefore, we're also in that era where we want to provide our customers the ability to escalate from whatever medium or channel of communication they're using to something that is a bit more face-to-face and more personal. And that's an increasing trend that we watch happening in organizations. And this helps improve business performance, because you have accelerated decision making, you have shrunk development cycles, and I'll talk a little bit about companies that have done that by being able to share and show models and prototypes of what they've built to their customers or their buyers, and get their feedback in that process. It also fosters a very large degree of open innovation, because now you have democratized decision making. And that's a very important aspect, because you're bringing people in and allow them to have a say in your decision making or in the company's values and visions. It also allows you to implement much better knowledge sharing, because everyone now has a say, and they can do so without just being in a meeting room, but working from wherever they are. And of course, we can accommodate changing work expectations of a lot of youngsters who are coming into the workforce today. There are, however, a number of challenges to this adoption. The first and foremost, beyond anything that technology has to do, is culture. And culture is a make or break for nearly all technology deployments. An organization where the leadership starts to do things about keeping their offices open, where employees can reach the management, fosters a culture that is open. When you go take it to the next step, it also means that every employee has an ability to provide input. When you give that responsibility and bestow that empowerment to the employee, they become a lot more innovative. They also know that with that responsibility comes a lot of ownership, and therefore you bring the best out of all employees. That culture is very important. For a long duration, organizations have continued to rely on email as that form of communication. However, email has tended to become more verbose and less direct, and therefore people are seeing that as a way to hide behind email to overcome some of the shortcomings. And therefore, changing the culture in that organization is a very important aspect. Now, when that is in motion, the next challenge for IT organizations has been proprietary and expensive hardware and the ability to interoperate between systems. Companies have grown or inorganically in many cases, and therefore have inherited various disparate networks. They need to be able to make those two talk together. Companies need to work with their partners, and partners may have different environments, and again, challenges of communication emerge. So this proprietary nature of technology has made it challenging to adopt video collaboration. The other component that has existed for a long time is that reliance on quality of service enabled networks and the cost of having that and the reliability of these networks. That makes it very challenging for organizations who have to dedicate a lot of that network capacity on this kind of communication. And then these were rarely scalable. All of that has also led to people saying, I need to be able to communicate and connect with people when I'm doing something in my business workflow. But having to get up from that and go into a meeting room and then establish a video collaboration kind of breaks that whole workflow. And therefore, adoption has been really poor. What people have wanted is the ability to just use it within their application, within the appliance of choice, and be able to do that with whatever appliance or device they're using and connect with people in and outside their organization. We do that very well in social media. And there's no reason why that behavior has to change the moment we walk into an office or walk into an office environment. But organizations have also had the challenge of having to dedicate a lot of capacity, and the ability to have to acquire all of this technology has been very expensive. Luckily, there are a lot of solutions that have overcome these challenges. There are new business models that have overcome these challenges as well. Today, we have the ability to run on everyday devices. We all have seen the proliferation of smartphones and tablets just in the last 24 months. 36 months ago, I would talk to a lot of organizations, and they would say we need to be able to support a lot of phones that don't have that are not smartphones. They were called feature phones. And within a 18-month period, all of that has changed. And look at the proliferation of smartphones today. All these phones have cameras and wonderful quality microphones. They have great touch screens, and you have a plethora of applications that people use day in and day out. And that behavior has come and percolated into the work environment. There are solutions that have this support for varying network conditions. Network quality is not always going to be seamless and continuous all the time, everywhere we go. There is going to be variance in network conditions. The ability to handle that is also there today. Today's technology has made such an infrastructure completely scalable. But what's really changed it is the ability to get it from the cloud. And that is one of the key factors why companies are able to adopt this technology quickly. And also because it's such a software-centric approach, the ability to bring in external organizations to develop it for you, being able to bring youngsters who are growing up with the ability to code and build it into the applications, and standardization of application development environments has helped in adopting this technology into organizations. One of the key factors obviously has been that technology and standards have enabled interoperability across devices as well as infrastructure. And they've done that either by adopting standards or making APIs and software development kits open and extendable. The advent of the cloud has enabled prices to come down in such a way that you can now deploy to a mass market. And these are critical in the way in which these solutions have helped adoption. However, I would like to quote Dave Copeland. He wrote in his article Business Reimagined. He said technology doesn't equal change, because if you can't help people change, technology changing all around them won't make the slightest difference. And we come back to what we started off as the first challenge, which in the previous slide where we talked about culture, that despite having everything and finding a solution to all of the technology issues, culture in an organization remains the domain of that organization's leadership to change behavior that allows you to adopt and make this successful. We see four trends within our business environment today that are really proliferating this adoption. One is the whole concept of BYOD, bring your own device to work. IT organizations have successfully overcome, in most cases, the ability to assimilate all these devices that are coming in, that you're bringing into the environment, and maintaining security and collaboration across it. The ability to have all the applications running across these devices is very critical, and that has helped people adopt it. It's just great that I can use it when I'm in the office or I'm doing my office work, that I can use my tablet. And when I step out of it, I can use it for my social media applications. There are new devices that are coming in that help you build that differentiation between what is your personal life as well as work life. One of the other factors that's also improving and making adoption very, hastening adoption is the quality of the screens. Display technology has transformed significantly. It was not that long ago when we used to look at CRT televisions, then moved into LCD. That was a big shift. But that didn't last long, and we moved into LED. And within a very short period of time came full high definition and now ultra high definition. Why does that matter? That matters because really what you're bringing is the ability to look at whatever is being displayed on that device or on that display as if you were seeing it with your own eyes in a real live environment. And that has significant implementations to organizations which are involved in research or healthcare or engineering or finance, where you need to look at detailed spreadsheets. Think of healthcare, where doctors now are able to transfer images of CAT scans across large distances and have the subject matter expert at the other end really look at the CAT scan and be confident about what they're seeing. And this display technology is only going to enhance, very, very quickly. It is forecasted that by 2017 in India, the proliferation of ultra high definition display technology is going to overtake what we have as LED TVs or high definition TVs today. And in 2017, that shift is going to happen. So whatever application you're running today and going into the future, you want to make sure you can leverage the ability of great display technology in what you're viewing. Otherwise, it's a bit like looking at standard definition telecast on an ultra high definition TV, which is really poor. So technology, being able to keep up with that, is a critical component of any video collaboration. You need to be able to run it on any network, not just because your organization can't deliver that, but because your customers and your partners are going to connect from varying quality of networks. They will come from various service providers, and being able to handle that effectively without creating a bad user experience is a very important component for video collaboration. That's always been a challenge, but luckily we now have technology that can handle that very effectively. And I talked about cloud, and I think it's not just that the ability you have to buy technology on an on-demand model from the cloud, it's also being able to pool that usage right across your global deployment. And that's a huge aspect for companies that are going global. You want to be able to buy it and use it when North America is awake and your employees are awake. They want to be able to use that technology, but use the same capability and quantity of licenses or capacity that they have purchased. Use that at a time when Asia comes awake. And that's the whole concept of software-defined networking. And that's something that is available today from a lot of service providers that are providing this and making this effective to adopt on a mass scale. The fourth most important component is that nobody looks at video collaboration as a standalone application going forward. It's just one component of your business workflow. It's built into whatever application you're using day in and day out. That's the only way people will adopt and use this more and more, is when you give it within the application they use for their work every day. So whether it's that CRM application, whether that is that electronic medical health record application, whether it's your HR application, that's the application you're using for work. And from within it, being able to create an environment where you can connect with the other members of your team or your partners or your customers is a very critical component of being able to use this effectively and make meaningful use out of it. There are a lot of productivity gains that we have seen across customers in many categories. Take a look at HR, interviews, new hire trainings, compliance trainings. A lot of these are being done over video today. And you're able to combine that with a number of applications in that domain. People are using voice recognition or emotion recognition applications to look at the quality of, to understand what you're saying and your intent and listening to your voice besides being able to see you. New hires feel that they don't have to travel long distances somewhere to just go for that training. They can do it from wherever they are and yet feel that they're part of the team, part of the rest of the organization. Similarly, in legal, a lot of legal contracts and client consultations happen over video. In fact, in the Indian government today, legal depositions in court over video are also allowed by law. We have many applications from a judiciary perspective where people can depose over video collaboration when they are in prisons and continue to do that. You have it in education, and all of these aspects of law have become possible because of this. High tech, where we find the concept of Scrum, where people come together to solve an intense or complicated problem and then go back and do other work that they normally do. Design reviews, all of these capabilities have become possible because of video collaboration. In retail, as well as in e-commerce, we're seeing the advent of people being able to see the product not just as an image, but being able to talk to an expert about a product that they want to buy. For example, if you're looking to buy a camera and a DSLR camera, and you're looking at various options out there on the website, it's really difficult for someone who has just come into photography to be able to figure out which is the best camera for them. And the best way to solve that is being able to connect to specialists, not just from within the e-commerce environment, but specialists in your region, freelance photographers who can come onto the call and actually walk you through what's the best camera for you. And that allows you to buy the best camera for you, get the advice that you need, and be happy about using it once you purchased it. And we have field operations, and there are numerous such examples wherein video collaboration from the location instantaneously through any application or any device over any network is really bringing significant productivity gains in all these categories. But it's not just within the enterprise. Video collaboration has now gone beyond the enterprise. Technology such as WebRTC has allowed the ability to have download-less browser-based communication from any device or any PC outside your environment as well into the enterprise. Clearly, the cloud is extending that reach, being able to allow you to do that. But what enterprises are finding is that they now can provide the customers a channel by which these customers can reach the business in a more meaningful manner. And going beyond the enterprise allows customers the ability to say, my organization that I'm dealing with is not restricting me to just an email form of communication or going over to the website and doing a chat session, which sometimes takes a lot longer as we type, or being able to call them. When there are complex environments, I can now escalate that into a video collaboration. One such example is in finance, wherein in high net worth individuals who want to look at their mutual fund portfolio will be able to schedule time with their relationship manager and be able to look at their mutual fund portfolio together as they are on a call and take instantaneous decisions as to how they want to move forward with it. And that's just one example. And I'll talk about a couple more examples later in this presentation. One of the key things as you go beyond the enterprise is obviously security. And enterprise-grade security is one of the most critical components in being able to ensure confidentiality as you connect with your customers. And that is paramount. Being able to look at security not just through firewalls, the ability to protect all of your databases, all of the data inside that, encryption of all the signaling, each one of these factors is important as you extend it beyond your enterprise into the outside world. With that, I'll shift gears here a little bit and talk about some of the opportunities in various verticals. We've seen this in manufacturing, where there is a significant amount of innovation and better R&D happening because your partners who are building smaller components that go into your automobile or your farm equipment are able to show you what they have done without having to ship it all the time from one end to the other during the design process, and being able to get your feedback and make modifications instantaneously. And that's very critical because no longer is manufacturing just within the walls of your organization. We're all highly dependent in that sector to all the other companies in that ecosystem. It also allows you to do virtual customer focus groups and therefore improves time to market. A lot of product launches are being done over video to their customers, across the world at the same time. Healthcare has seen probably some of the biggest innovations in this space. Large telemedicine networks where patient-to-physician consultation is allowing primary care to be delivered at the point where the patients are, without the patients having to travel long distances and come into the city and having to wait there for the availability of a doctor. There's a lot of technology advances. We're talking about the Internet of Things coming, but already there are medical cards wherein you have the ability to plug the stethoscope to your chest and the doctor and the remote end is able to hear exactly how your heartbeat is. You can do ECGs on remote cards, and all of this is shared instantaneously with the doctor. So ENT is another example where they have the ability to have a probe that you can put into your ear, or a retinal scan that allows the doctor at the remote end to understand exactly how you're feeling. In many areas where ubiquitous availability of high quality network is proliferating, even ambulances are now being connected with video, so the doctors in the hospital can be prepared while the patient is coming in an ambulance, and also provide guidance to the people in the ambulance on what to do or what remedial steps to take in order to save lives. Financial services have probably seen a significant amount of deployments here in India as well as in the rest of the world. We see a lot of mobile banking capability that allows face-to-face banking along with sharing of applications. We're seeing a proliferation of video kiosks that are just not one way, wherein you look at a lot of videos that are stored on the kiosk, but being able to connect with people at the other end and getting your problem solved. We're seeing new versions of what are called as micro branches coming out. ATMs that are full-fledged branches to a large extent, which allow you to talk to a subject matter expert. In fact, in many countries, be able to print out and get your credit card out of the kiosk as well. Education. There are large projects in education that are going on that allow the ability to have subject matter experts, teachers reaching out to remote classrooms, which have not had the opportunity to have these teachers come in and teach physically. They're able to get the same classes through the same teacher in a virtual classroom. We have many such examples happening here in India that the government is conducting, where remote classrooms have been enabled, where teachers are sitting in one location and teaching a lot number of students, not just one way, but in a collaborative environment where they can take questions from the from the student, and being able to help those students in real time. And in retail, we're beginning to see the advent of face-to-face collaboration happening as well. With online customer support, wherein people who are looking at buying clothes can see the quality of the clothes, talk to experts in that field, It has just started with high-end clothing and high-end luxury goods, but over time, you will see that proliferate into the day-to-day shopping that most of us will do through an e-commerce environment. So for optimal results, one has to look at the ROI. And I'm going to ask you to change your perspective a little bit from the return on investment approach, which is really a justification for a major investment. Vendors play a large role in how you pay for that entire system, and you analyze this large project, which could be a year or multi-year project, and you justify an investment. I'd like to see it turned the other way around, where we look at investing on the right returns. And that's based on specific identified returns that you identify in your organization. Where can I improve a process? How can I improve time to market? And these are specific identified opportunities in an organization. And the organization then lists out the desired outcomes and then applies collaboration to it. And this allows you to take discrete projects or discrete phases and analyze what the outcome could be in your organization. So a simple template that I put out is really, common sense to people, and most of you have already done this. So it's just a simple way to explain what I was highlighting. We look at identifying the return we expect, whether it's streamlined transactions, is it faster collaboration, what are the savings that come out of it? And to this, we then determine the investment. What are the investments we need? Are there recurring costs? Are there one-time costs? And we then look at that investment and then do the math, which is the standard internal rate of return. What is the rate of return that allows me to benchmark within the organization and then move forward? A few examples of companies that are doing it. We have a company in Europe called Decra that has changed insurance claim processing. They have allowed the customer to connect through any device that they have over video and connect to a claim specialist and show them the damages and have that claim processed instantaneously over that call. And this has resulted in a significant decrease in the number of claim adjusters they need, but also a significant increase in the number of claims that each adjuster can handle in a day. And they've done this across any device that the customer has, over any network that the customer is using, and changed the way that organization is moving forward. So if you look at the return on, what they invested on for the return they expected was being able to increase productivity of their claim adjusters by being able to solve that quicker. The cost of trying to solve that, to process that claim, and also the convenience to the customer in the immediacy with which they get that claim processed. Take a look at scientific research, and this is a huge project. For those who have looked at CERN, these are the scientists who are answering questions like, what is the universe made of, how did it start, and the whole God particle search that they are doing. You have really 600 institutes and universities across nearly 113 countries coming together. Over 20,000 scientists collaborate, and you can actually see this real time. If you just do a search on your search engine and ask for CERN dashboard, you'll actually see real time, because they published that. And you can see all these scientists collaborating with each other, looking at different aspects of their research, and that's publicly available. You should take a look at it. But it's quite immense to see how researchers are coming and joining from the remotest parts of the world to collaborate. And this is a highly creative aspect of discovery. Healthcare organizations that have really deployed telemedicine, integrated into their telemedicine applications, and integrated with medical devices and practice management software, and being able to do that with high quality for the patient and the doctor has been an immense benefit for a lot of these companies, HealthSpot being one example out there. And here in India, we've had IndusInd Bank turn things around in the way they have extended their reach with what they call as face-to-face banking with a video branch solution. They really transformed how they wanted to be able to reach out to their customers across the country. So many such examples across different verticals that are making this possible. So I wanted to leave you with these examples, and hopefully you found this of value. I'll now hand over to Ashwini to open this up for any Q&A.
What will you do? You can read out the questions. I'm putting out the video also.
Okay. We have a number of questions coming here, so I'll start picking out these questions. Amit Gupta, one of the participants here, is asking if you have an Indian example in healthcare. The answer is yes. There are a number of healthcare projects. If you look at what Medanta is doing with telemedicine, that's a very good example of what they're doing on using video collaboration. Similarly, you have many other large hospital networks that are extending their telemedicine applications to remote areas. The government's doing it. A number of places in the government, PGI, for example, in UPs is doing telemedicine. And what we're going to see is all of these telemedicine projects really gain scale as the network starts to proliferate across the country. I'm going to pick another question. We have a question here that says, what's the role of the service provider in enabling this? I think this is a very pertinent question. The service provider is probably one of the most critical components in being able to make this all happen. I just answered the previous question about healthcare, that it's going to grow as these networks allow you to roll that out. And as a service provider, they're able to allow you to extend that reach because their presence means that you can be assured that you can continue doing your business, and they will make sure that they can backhaul all of that data and being able to make sure that the communications of great quality with the right levels of service, but also that you can buy it as you need it. So as your demand goes up, you can get that from the service provider and then again roll it down to what is your normal usage. I have another question here on internet speeds being bad in India and how it's even done and what kind of infrastructure is needed at both ends. It's a great question. So one of the answers to that is today technology from a lot of the service providers is available that allows you to do good quality video even at 512 kbps. So with that level of the bandwidth that you have, and it doesn't even have to be great quality, the technology can handle variances in the internet bandwidth, and you can actually handle video collaboration on this. What do you need at each end? Well, at the remote end from where the video call is originating, or at the terminating end, you can use any device. You can use your smartphone, your tablet, your PC, and you can get onto these calls. The camera quality in all of these devices is significantly enhanced these days. Okay, I'm going to pick up a couple more questions here. I have another question here saying that there's a lot of poor people that are not interested in modern healthcare and are thinking about cost and operating expenses. I think what you will find is that the government is taking a huge step in making affordable healthcare available into all parts of the country, and that the government is ensuring the availability of medical care to the poorest people. What it turns out is that it costs the government a lot less to be able to provide telemedicine over video than to make it available at every part of the country, which is not a scalable solution. You can't build and have doctors available in every village in the country all the time. But by putting in telemedicine endpoints that have been innovatively designed in India, and that's part of the frugal innovation, they've been able to extend the ability for each of these villages to connect with doctors either at the district or in the major towns or cities and get healthcare. And a lot of this is being done because the government's funding it. There are a lot of charitable organizations that are funding it and making it available. The cost of better health for the citizens of the country means that the government actually saves a lot more money that it actually will have to spend if these people didn't have that health care. A couple more questions. It's a very interesting question. What about security? Is it easy to hack any network? And that's the topic I touched about in the presentation that said that security is extremely important. If you look at most video collaboration that is available on the social networks, that you use day to day, there is hardly any security in that. And that's why that is not used by enterprises that actually want to make a meaningful use of video collaboration. To use video collaboration in an enterprise environment, banking or healthcare, security is paramount. You can't expect to use what you use on social media and say, I'm going to use this to do healthcare or education or banking. You need very secure and encrypted environments. And that's one of the things that the service provider also ensures, along with the technology provider, that there is a significant level of encryption. Today they use either 128-bit or 256-bit encryption on this communication so that it cannot be hacked. One other question here, what is the future of face-to-face banking and what are the benefits an end user gets out of it? What we're seeing today is the very early advent of face-to-face banking. I think what banks are trying to show today is that you can connect for the services that benefit by using face-to-face banking. And some of the early examples of where face-to-face banking has been most useful is where you need to share documents. For example, I'm applying for a loan. And when I want to apply for a loan, I need to look at the loan terms and conditions in more detail. If I go to a branch, I'm one of the many people waiting for that expert to help me. What banks are realizing is that people can do it sitting in their homes. They can connect and they can actually talk to a subject matter expert, a loans processing officer, who can actually push that document onto whatever device you're on, and you can actually look at the loan terms and conditions and the benefits that you're getting out of it. That's one example of it. Banks are also experimenting with kiosks, wherein they want the kiosks to upgrade themselves to do certain aspects of banking. The ability when you're near a train station to go into a kiosk and being able to call a subject matter expert about an inquiry that you have and being able to do that quickly without having to wait to go to the branch. This allows banks to also extend their reach to a lot of cities even before they have physical presence getting in there. They are able to educate their customers or potential customers about the products they're bringing in and as they set up new branches in that area. A lot of people are realizing, for example, I myself was a user very recently where I had to get my son his first credit card, and I didn't really know which was the best credit card because he's going to study somewhere and he needed a credit card and he's still a minor. I wasn't aware of anything looking onto the website of how I could get a minor a credit card, and it was really easy when I could connect directly with the bank face to face and have that question answered. That took me about 10 minutes to get everything done versus having to drive up from one bank or to the other bank, stop there, wait for someone and get that answer done. Let's see here. So some more questions coming here. Is the interaction also recorded on the service provider's servers? When you do video collaboration in the enterprise, you have the option of recording it based on what you want to do. When you get a service like this from the service provider, the control is actually with the customer. The enterprise controls what it wants to do. And also the enterprise, all the video, if you do record those conversations, they're actually in your control, and you can keep it in your domain with your own access, so that for security. And that's typically what a service provider would do in their architecture, is make sure that that all of the privacy aspects are maintained. Okay, I've got one more question here. It says, we've still not seen easy to do teleconferencing solutions. A lot of people in offices travel to be part of some or the other meeting. Do you agree, and what's your viewpoint? I think it's a matter of education. Part of this webinar that we're doing along with our partner with Airtel is helping to educate the fact that such teleconferencing abilities exist today. You can actually do it from your PC, your tablet, or your mobile. You don't have to go into a meeting room, because that disrupts the business workflow. And this is changing the way in which organizations are, moving to adopt video collaboration outside of the meeting rooms into the hands of the employees, where it matters most. Okay. Have you seen this reducing travel in your client organizations to a significant level? The answer to that is, yes. The initial meetings typically happen physically when you are building that relationship. We then continue to extend that relationship when we have a video collaboration. There are many times many of our prospects come on and they would like to understand this. There's no better way than being able to invite them to a video collaboration session wherein they can talk to us. But while they're getting information, they're actually also using the system and getting an understanding of how easy it is to use. So in a way, they become converts and say, this is very easy, and therefore I should be able to use it every day that I want to use it. And therein lies one of the aspects that I talked about in the webinar, that this needs to be very simple to use. The user experience has to be absolutely simple, and that's when adoption goes up. And that's really what technology providers and service providers are working together to do. We have some very interesting questions here. How do you keep up with technology changes, because they change so fast? And the investment goes futile, and managing it is a pain. Well, I think whenever you invest it, it's like if you bought a car and the new model came out, you really go through a lot of pain saying that you invested a lot and how do I upgrade it? Fortunately, that's not the way the industry is moving with video collaboration. As it moves into a more of a software environment, and today, large part of video collaboration, the predominant companies provide it as pure software. The software upgrade automatically handles all the advances in technology, whether that is new protocols such as WebRTC or H.265 and all of that, the technology of pundits like, being able to keep up and continue to support those standards, interoperability, as well as all of the new display technology I talked about, especially ultra high definition, 4K and 5K resolution. Software automatically does that. When you get it off the cloud, you have no obsolescence, because the service provider really is maintaining the entire environment, making sure that it's always updated and is keeping up to the changes in technology. Okay, very quickly, one very interesting question that's a little out. Does the technology enable a customer to upload his body shape onto a retailer's site and have the retailer drape the body with various clothes to choose from? There is technology that exists that's typically not what a video collaboration environment does, but yes, video cameras are available that allow you to do it. There are a number of startups that have started to tackle this issue. There are a couple of other companies outside of India as well that are using this technology in the early days and wanting to make it available, especially in e-commerce shopping, wherein you have a significant amount of returns when you buy clothes. this is seen as one way in which you can stand in front of a camera and it sizes you up. The software to do that is slightly outside of the domain of our conversation today, but there are companies that are using that to bring those solutions to bear. Okay, I think we're really near the end of the questions here. I don't see any more questions coming in. So hopefully I've answered all the questions. I hand it back to Ashwini. And while Ashwini takes over, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, for attending today and spending your valuable time. Hopefully you found the session valuable, and we look forward to your feedback. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much, Sunny, for sharing an insightful presentation and also, taking on several questions with examples. Thank you all the participants once again. I hope the session was worth your time, and I hope there were some key learnings that you'll take back from the session. Once again, on behalf of Economic Times and Airtel, I want to thank Sunny Rao and all the participants for your time and participation. Thank you.